Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Long Way Home, a podcast that has taken too long to start today. And if you're wondering why we're laughing, it's because we've tried to do that intro so many times.
At least twice.
My name is Jackson.
My name's Carmela.
And we've been planning this for a while. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while. It has been 2 years since I started doing YouTube, and I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a really long time. And the other day, Carmela and I were talking about starting it, and when we were coming up for a name, which we settled on Long Way Home, I think one of the things we were thinking about is like how there were some times, especially when we first met, where there's one instance where I purposely took a long route home, like I didn't go the fastest route home because I wanted to talk to her more. And sometimes we take detours in life, and this podcast is kind of a detour from our lives and now into your lives. And so we're really excited to start. I've already introduced myself a lot on the channel, but Carmela has done one vlog, but she's very new to a lot of this. And so this is what, the second time that we've done a video together? Because we've only done the one vlog, right?
Minus the thousands of vlogs I've sent Miley and Jenna and various people.
This is true. You're already a content creator.
This is my second thing I'm putting onto the interwebs.
The interwebs.
Yes.
We are really excited to do this, though. We've been thinking about this all day. Today's Valentine's Day, by the way.
Happy birthday, Valentine.
So Carmela is stuck with me and stuck doing this. She's like, what's the perfect date for Valentine's? Being stuck here recording a podcast with me.
My favorite.
For those of you who don't know about me, or maybe you're listening to this and you're like, who the heck are you? My name is Jackson Crawford. I've been doing this for 2 years now. I have a YouTube channel called JCraw, which I started probably about 8 months after my first channel with my brother, which was called Infamous Losers. I'm pretty comfortable with content creation. I say that, and yet I'm still going to be awkward for a long period of time. But I live in the wonderful New of England. I'm a senior in college, finishing up my psychology and music degrees. So I'll impart a lot of that psychological wisdom and years of experience as an old man in New England.
He's just going to play brain games with me the whole time. That's
pretty much
what that means.
I feel like you play more brain games with me than I play with you.
I don't really know if that's true. When's the last time I played a brain game on you?
So we just got back from the store, right? And for some reason, you were having a mini breakdown in the store because you were trying to remember all the things you had to get.
It's overstimulating.
And
Grocery stores.
I came back to the car. Why are grocery stores overstimulating?
There's so much, and you have to remember things, and then there's decisions to make, and then there's people, and then sometimes when you get something and you find out what you want, then it's not there, and you have to make a new decision, one that you didn't want to make it to begin with. And so now you're stuck with something less great than what you wanted.
You sound really passionate about this. I feel like you've had so many negative grocery store experiences.
New England grocery stores just also aren't as good.
So that is kind of a segue into, I wanted to also introduce you because you are not from here.
No.
Foreigner.
These parks are not my home.
So talk a little bit about where you're from.
I'm from none other than the Florida.
Ugh. Hold on. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to get that sour taste out of my mouth.
You know, you're actually one of few New Englanders who hate Florida that bad.
But I don't. I was very outspoken about Florida when you and I first met. And then when we went to Florida, did I not have a wonderful time?
Yeah. That's why snowbirds exist.
And once again, a term that I didn't know existed. And I'm convinced that there's some sort of shared psychosis between you and everyone else in my life, that everyone else has heard of this word.
No, you just are not in with the times, my friend.
Not in what? It's not even a. What do you mean not with the times? It's not even a new word. Anyway, so what are you doing here in New England?
Well, I had lived in my little small town of Florida for 20 years, and I was ready for something else. I'm someone who, if I stay for too long, I start to feel like stuck. And so it was at that point in my life that I knew if I didn't move, then I would have just been in that same town for forever. And I didn't want that. Like, I am an explorer. I want to get out there and see things and do things. So
Absolutely.
I have distant family members who live kind of in this area. And so it was a big move, but it was a big move that I could do with peace of mind. So even though I did it very much independently, I knew I had people here who I could rely on. So it was good. And it was, you know, obviously terrifying in parts, but it was very wonderful. And I obviously met this incredible human named J. Craw YouTube. So
Who are you talking about? Oh, me. Oh, you're talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my Valentine.
Your Guyantine.
Yeah.
As I came up with Landon the other day. I don't know if you were in the room when I came up with
Nope.
that. That was before you got
That's
home.
that's been a thing. Actually, there's many TikToks surfacing
Guyantine?
of people, boyfriends, who do not get to participate in Galentines, do Guyantines instead.
Well, so you guys just had a Galentine's party.
Correct. It was
And
the Galentine's party. I hope you know.
It was pretty, I will say, as someone who did not attend this. In fact, I walked into the room and I think every single person in the room was like, "Get out!" But what were the guys doing during Galentine's?
Super Bowl.
Watching the Super Bowl,
It is-
which sucked.
I mean, it was quite perfect because we had the gals downstairs and the guys upstairs, and it just like it sounds very stereotypical.
Wait, stereotypical.
Gosh.
Why do we both have a pretty part?
Stereotypical, but it like just worked for our group of people, so it was very wonderful.
It was.
And the gals like headed upstairs for the halftime show because
Bad Bunny.
yeah, my guy. Just kidding. I have listened to none of his music. Sorry,
I-
Bad Bunny.
I haven't either, but it was still enjoyable.
I've heard like the TikTok clips and stuff and enjoyed them, but I had never listened to like a full song of his actually.
I will say, and I think I've said this to you a lot, I think the cinematography and the, like, everything, like the production design for it was incredible. Like, it felt very polished. Like, it didn't feel, like, crammed or put together. And his stage presence was amazing.
I agree.
He did a super good job.
I agree.
And I think you are allowed to have your own opinion about it, but it was a great performance.
I agree.
But yeah, so you moved up here from Florida.
I did.
And you did not fly.
No, I drove. It took me 25 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped a total of 4 times, each for 10 minutes, except for one time.
Yeah,
one
what
time
happened?
took a little longer than 10 minutes because I broke down in the Bronx at 3 a.m. with just little old me and my little cat Sage.
And your car.
And my car.
Tilly.
Everything in the back of it.
That's true. I cannot believe you fit everything. So Carmela, you have a small car.
I have a little
have-
4-door sedan.
I have a SUV, so I can fit a lot of stuff in it. You have a small car, which currently has 4 tires in the back seat. You have not unloaded for some reason.
I don't know where to put my
My
non-winter
house,
tires.
the garage.
All right, next time I'm there.
But you drove up here
Mhm.
all at once.
Yeah.
And then you like went to our landlord to get the keys, and you came right here.
Yeah, and it was like a crazy time constraint because if I had not made it like that day, like if I ended up having to stop for extended time for whatever reason or I got tired, I would have been like, I guess not homeless for 3 days, but I would have had to like stay with my aunt for 3 days because it was the next day was 4th of July and then it was the weekend. So I would have been just kind of me and Sage.
And you know what I didn't think about until now?
Hmm.
You didn't sleep
Correct.
for those 25
25 hours. I drove straight for 25 hours.
How did you stay awake?
Okay, the first 8 hours, I got like 8 hours in and I got a few states up. And I was like, I feel like I've been driving for 20 minutes. Because it's something you just do and you just sit there and you listen to music and you just go. And
I can't even imagine listening to 25 hours worth of music.
I did. I had...
Did you go through like every artist in your phone?
No, I went through like stages. So I had this like probably 4 or 5 hour long playlist that was like my quote unquote moving playlist. And it had a bunch of really sad songs about it. So I could cope with the fact that I just left my entire life behind.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so I let myself feel my emotions and I cried it out a little bit. And then like I started to feel okay. And so I switched through a couple of artists and a couple of playlists. And My friends would call me along the way too. I had like this giant Life 360, and so all of them could watch me so I didn't have to text them and update them, and they could like all of them watch me pull into my apartment. So it was pretty awesome.
It's like a big celebration.
Yeah,
big party.
My friend Kate said that she watched it with her friends that I don't even know. So
it's like when you watch like the ball drop on New Year's Eve and everyone's like gathered around. It's like, all right, we're gonna wait for it to happen.
Mm-hmm. They probably got a little pranked when I pulled into Arthur Thomas, and they're like, "Oh, what's she doing there? Stopped for an hour because I overestimated my time.
Right.
I got there an hour early because I thought they opened at 8, but it was 9. So, oops."
The fact that you also got there early with breaking down in the Bronx is crazy. How long were you stopped in the Bronx?
Not very long. I stopped at like a gas station, and I pulled over to the side because it was time for me to get gas anyway. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I am a little tired. Like, even if I don't feel tired, like maybe it's the adrenaline and I should try and get some sort of rest. So I sat in my car, I locked the doors, I made sure Sage was safe and whatever, and I turned off my car, and I set an alarm for an hour. And I was like, I'm just going to try and get some sleep, and we'll see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't sleep.
Nothing,
sleep. Not a wink.
I wouldn't have been able to sleep.
I don't know if it just like I felt unsafe, or if the adrenaline just kept going. And so I was like, all right, I quit. And so I got in my car, I went to the bathroom, and I came back into my car, and I went to turn it on to get gas. And it didn't turn on.
Oh.
And so it being 3 a.m, I was like, dang, what do I do? So I called my dad, and my dad answered immediately. I was like, I'm so sorry for waking you up. And he was like, your mom and I were watching you the whole way. Like, we're still awake. And I was like, what? So they were watching the whole way, and I jumped my car. I had like a battery pack in my trunk.
Oh,
and
thank God.
Mm-hmm, and I jumped my car with my dad's vocal help. So
have you ever jumped a car before?
Not on my lonesome. In the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. So
in the middle of the night.
Is that copyright?
No, because I sang it so off key and horribly that it probably won't even ring up DMCA.
Well, I thought it was beautiful.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So what I think is so great about that story, one is the fact that you picked up your entire life and you moved here. But number two is like there were so many different ways that you and I might not have met.
Correct.
Because for the first 20 plus years of our lives, neither one of us knew we even existed.
1,300 miles away.
Which I feel like for me is kind of crazy because I think of like all of the friends I've had or even like partners I've had. I've all known that they existed or like they were in like my bubble.
Right.
But you were 1,300 miles away?
Correct.
Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
In that ballpark?
25 hours.
25 hours. There you go. And you almost didn't live here. So for context, to build upon the story, I live in the top part of like the building that we have. We live in like a house that has 2 stories, and like the bottom story is like one apartment and the top story is another apartment. And I live in the top apartment, and I moved in, and I made a video on my channel when I moved in. I moved in with my buddy Landon, who I've lived with for the past 3 years, his girlfriend, and our other friend Jackie. And we moved in sort of midway through June. So we had already been living here. And one of your roommates, Emily, moved in maybe a week or 2 after we moved in, something like that. And then you guys moved in downstairs, sort of like one after the other.
Yeah, because my roommates and I, there's 4 of us, we didn't know each other before.
Right.
Everyone upstairs, you guys knew each other for however many years.
Yeah.
And we met the day that we moved in or a few days later because we're all on separate leases.
Right.
And we're all from different parts of everywhere. So my roommate Caitlin lives in this state, or has lived in this state. Taryn is originally from Florida like me, and then she moved to Virginia, and then she moved here.
Right.
And then Emily's the furthest away. Emily's from California.
Cali, baby.
Yeah.
And it is so, and I talk to you about this all the time. It's so crazy to me that 4 people from 4 completely different places. I know you and Taryn are both from Florida, but different
I mean,
parts
we're
of
from
Florida.
different parts of Florida, so it is like different countries.
It is different. Yeah, I know. And going through Florida, like there are different levels of Florida, but like 4 people from 4 completely different places. It very well could not have worked out.
We could have been enemies.
Yeah, you guys might not have been friends.
But we just had the most delightful Galentines together.
Yeah, and I've obviously gotten to know all of you very well, and you are all wonderful people, and we're very blessed that you moved in downstairs. But the reason why I bring it up is like there was the chance that you and I couldn't have met because you could have lived somewhere else. You had an arrangement with someone else, like another roommate, right? Kind
yeah,
of.
so
I'll let you tell it.
I was gonna live with my aunt who lives in the town over from here.
Yeah.
And it ended up not working. Like, it didn't seem like a smart thing to do just because with what's going on with everything in both of our lives right now. And so I, scrambled, and I went on Facebook Marketplace and all of these things, and I was trying to find a roommate, and I found a roommate, and we actually, we FaceTimed, and we got along so well. And we had the same situation, we were doing the same amount of schooling at the same time, and so it worked out genuinely perfectly. We were going to be able to live in the apartment for the same amount of time, and
not here though.
No, and
right.
not have an issue of oh, but I need another year, but you don't. And so it was so perfect.
It was so lined up.
It was wonderful. And then they had some issues where they just could not, and it was very upsetting, but it was not in their hands. So and that was a few days before I flew up here to do tours of apartments. So I had all of these tours set up and appointments booked for 2-bedroom apartments. And I had one tour for a 1-bedroom apartment, and it was this apartment. And it was the last one I went to, and I scheduled it the day of because I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And it was the only one I could find, and they were like, we really don't have time for appointments right now, but this guy can show you around for 5 minutes if you really want. And I was like, please.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy.
It's so incredibly wild that I ended up here.
And you think about the chances, because I almost didn't end up here because me and Landon's girlfriend Olivia, who's also been in some videos of mine, we were looking at a bunch of different places for the 3 of us because it was just going to be the 3 of us.
Yeah.
And then we were going to live with another one of our friends, Colby, and we were going to live over across the street, part of campus housing.
Right.
And so we were going to live over there. And then stuff with Colby fell through, and it just wasn't super cost friendly. So then we found this place, and we came here and we toured it, and we were like, all right, let's do it. And then now we're here. And so the detours, the chances that we had to take to end up here.
The long ways to home.
The long ways. Oh, look at you finding a way to work that in. But yeah, and so that was the summer of 2025.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because we had a campfire sort of hangout together.
Well, the first time we met was, so my roommates and I all moved in at different times because obviously we're on separate leases, and
right.
I moved in a month late. I paid rent for a month, and I just wasn't here because I just wanted one more month of living at home.
I didn't know that they made you pay rent for that.
Well, I had to hold my spot. And so I technically lived here. I just wasn't in the building.
Gotcha.
So, because I just wanted one more month in Florida. And I was like, I just need one more month to say my goodbyes, do all the things, do everything at least one more time, and just get things settled and get a month more of pay. So
right.
So I stayed for another month, and Emily and Taryn all trickled in, but I was the last one to move in. And so I left a sign on my bedroom door that I was here because I was nervous. And so I put a sign that said, hi, I just moved in yesterday, and come meet me and my cat Sage. And so I think it was the same hour. Someone, I think it was maybe Taryn or Caitlin, came and knocked on my door. I think it was Taryn.
Probably Taryn.
I think it was Taryn. And then, so I met her. And then a little while later, Emily and Caitlin came and knocked on my door. And they said they were all so excited that I finally moved in. And so we scheduled a roommate meeting to kind of set everything up because we didn't know each other. We were strangers.
I know. Yeah.
And so I was like, guys, we have to meet our neighbors. And so I was like, let's bake everyone on the block cookies. And so we did, and we made so many cookies.
Stuff for people across the street who we've spoken with maybe once, because we tried to make a group chat of all of us, and it
didn't work.
Just didn't work.
Yeah, so I was like, well, let's bake cookies for everyone on the block. That way, they know we're here and they know we're friendly. And so we baked cookies for our roommate meeting, and our first stop was upstairs because you're the closest. And so we went and we knocked on the door, and no one answered. We knocked so many times.
I don't even remember this. So you're going to have to tell the story because
Mhm.
I don't even remember this.
So we knocked on the door a million times. It wasn't working. And we're like, we know they're home. Like, we can hear them. They're just not answering the door. And so we were like, whatever, we'll come back later. So we went across the street and we started knocking on the door, and they didn't answer. But I looked back up to our apartment, and you guys were looking out the window. Like,
were we really?
You were all lined up on the back of the couch looking out the window, like trying to figure out what the heck that knock was. And so I signaled and I waved my hand and was like, come down, come down. And so we ran back over to your building, and you guys came down the stairs. And we all like, I was like, here's these cookies for you guys. Like, we just made them. And you guys were like, thank you. And we like shared names, and we made a group chat. And then that's how it all started. I named you Jackson upstairs. Jackie is Jackie upstairs. Olivia is Olivia upstairs.
Which
what's his name? Landon is Landon upstairs.
You forgot Landon's name. He's right there.
Sorry, Landon.
Yeah, it's funny how you've kept the upstairs.
Yeah.
Because originally you were in my phone, Carmela downstairs.
Mhm.
Well, actually, it was Emily was in Emily and then her last name.
Mm-hmm.
And then I changed it to Emily downstairs.
Right.
And then I made you guys all downstairs. But now you're in my phone as Mella, because that's what I call you. But I'm still in your phone as Jackson upstairs.
I feel like that just will be forever thing, because that's, I don't know, I think it's cute. It's how we met.
Should I change that? Should I legally change my name to Jackson upstairs?
No, because then I have to be Carmela upstairs.
Ooh. See you. But yeah, so I don't even remember that cookie story at all.
Yeah.
But I do remember one of the first nights you guys came upstairs and we hung out. I don't know, was that before the fire?
No, I think the fire was
the fire first? So I remember the fire, we all went outside, and we have sort of like this fire pit behind the house, and we had a fire, which I miss having fires. It's been so cold.
Yeah.
And there's obviously so much snow, it's just not feasible.
Right.
Maybe when the snow lightens up a little bit, we'll be able to have some fires. But we had a fire, and I remember you and I just really hit it off because we both loved Good Mythical Morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked a lot.
Talked about music. That's how I got you.
Talked about music, yeah, because you showed me Moondoggy, because we were playing, I think, a playlist, and you played some Moondoggy, and I was like, oh, this is sick.
Well, as I was getting to know you, you talked about what instruments you play, and then it's like saxophone, and I was like, wait, there's saxophone in this one band that I like to listen to. And so I was like, let me play those songs. And then you were like, who is this? I really like this. And I was like, yeah, listen to it. It's Moondoggy. And so I remember, like, periodically after that, I would text you and be like, hey, have you listened to Moondoggy? And sometimes you'd be like, no, not yet. And then all of a sudden it was like, yes, I love them.
So I would legitimately, I would get to work early. And either on my work breaks or before work, I would listen to a different Moondoggy song, and I would text you. I'd be like, hey, I listened to this song. Or, like, I'd be like, hey, I love, like, Passport was one, Long Nights was another.
Mm-hmm.
And we just sort of had, like, this bond over Moondoggy. We're going to see them, too, really soon, which is I'm super excited for, because I feel like that's, like, our band.
Shout out Moondoggy.
Shout out Moondoggy. If you haven't listened to them, go listen to their music. I think they just came out with some new music.
Mm-hmm. They came out. It's a new song, and I think there's a EP dropping soon.
But the interesting part of this story is that I didn't know that you had a crush on me.
The biggest one.
From the beginning?
From the get-go.
From the get-go. A gecko?
No.
What noise does a gecko make?
I don't know. They probably do something with their tongues, right?
Do geckos have tongues?
Do dogs have feet?
Sometimes.
My dog had 3 legs.
Broccoli didn't have 3 legs?
Frank.
Oh, I never met Frank.
Yeah, he died.
Oh. Well, so did Broccoli, so.
Rip.
But Carmela had a massive crush on me. And I didn't know, 1, because I was seeing someone else, and 2, because guys are oblivious.
Truth.
And so for the rest of summer, I was going out with someone, and I think you went on a date with one guy.
Yeah.
And it just didn't.
It was fine. But
I
wasn't
remember
Jackson Crawford.
I remember you talking to me about him, though.
Yeah.
And I remember you were saying like, oh, it was okay. And then as you talk more about like his personality and certain things, I was like, oh, this doesn't sound like it's a good fit for you. And then obviously we figured out that it wasn't
Yeah.
the right fit for you. And then, the person I was seeing over the summer, we decided to go separate ways, and which was really hard for me. And you were incredibly supportive and kind and patient with me. And then Halloween hit. And Halloween, there was a hockey game. We went to a college hockey game, and me, Landon, and our other buddy Cohen dressed up as referees. And so we walked in full referee uniforms to the hockey complex down the street. Meanwhile, you were texting me because you guys were having a Halloween party here at the house in your apartment. And I remembered I was really excited to get back because I wanted to spend time with you and spend time with people downstairs. And I got back, and you guys were just having like the time of your life. I think I stayed in the referee uniform for most of the night.
You did.
With the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a photo of me in the helmet with you. What were you dressed up as?
I was dressed up as a cat because it was very last minute. I didn't know I was dressing up, so I just used the same costume as last year.
Right. Did you have ears?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That was my it's what I wore to work last year. Not that same costume, but I was
gonna say that outfit would have been interesting to wear to work.
But I wore like the headband and the
And so we stayed up really late, eating and drinking, and well, I didn't drink, and playing Pong and whatnot. And I went back into your room with you. Just because you were feeling a little gross.
Yeah.
But you and I hadn't like really, because I didn't know that you had massive feelings for me, but that was like the point where I started to be like, maybe this is possible.
Right.
Just because you were like my best friend, and we just had so much fun together.
Yeah.
And so anyways, and this is like 2 a.m., you got in bed, and you were laying down, and I was sitting on the floor next to your bed because I didn't want to like overstep and like sit in your bed with you. And I sat next to you all night.
Truth.
So I went back upstairs because I sat with you for a really long time, and you started to doze off, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go upstairs. And so I left you, and then I went upstairs, and then you texted me, and you were like, you wanted me to come back downstairs. And so I came back downstairs, and I stayed up the whole night, and I sat on the floor with my hand holding you right on your bed. And my back felt like crap, and I felt so gross because I basically pulled an all-nighter.
Yeah.
But that was a really unique experience for us, because I think that was the first sort of moment.
That was our first like one-on-one type of thing.
I agree.
I don't remember if we had we had work orientation before that, so like the drives there and back.
Right.
But that was the first like unprofessional.
This is when we started working together as well.
Yeah.
And so after that, we started talking a lot more, and then you got on a flight to go back down to Florida.
Yeah.
To visit with some of your friends. And it was while you were in Florida. What did you do every single day that you were in Florida?
I might have made a phone call or two.
You might have made a couple phone calls. We talked all the time. And there was one night where the service was so bad where you were.
I was out camping in the middle of nowhere, so I had no service. I couldn't even take my B-reel for the day.
Ugh. How could you?
I know, I lost my almost year-long streak.
I used to be super consistent with Be Real, and I just haven't been lately.
Be fake.
Be fake?
Yeah.
Why don't you go be a butt? A beautiful butt.
No.
Beautiful butt. Anyways, continue. And so you were camping.
Yeah,
didn't have service.
There was no service, and we were sitting in front of this giant fire because there was like a whole bunch of palm fronds. You know what palm fronds are?
Palm friends?
Fronds. So you know palm trees?
What the hell is a frond?
Oh, well, I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay, well, explain it.
So you know palm trees?
Yes, I know what a palm tree is.
Okay, well, you didn't know what a palm frond was, so you know.
Is it like a leaf?
Yeah, you know the giant big leaves? That is a palm frond.
So a palm leaf.
Frond.
Why? What the hell is a frond?
Look
Okay,
it up.
continue tell your story, and I'm gonna look up what a frond is.
So there was this giant pile of palm fronds. Like, it was like 2 or 3 people tall. It was wild. Yeah, that big.
No, I was
Oh, you're
raising my
raising your
hand so
hand?
I could speak. The leaf or leaf-like part of a palm fern or similar plant. The example is fronds of bracken. What the hell is bracken?
I don't know.
Any several coarse ferns of the genus Terdium. Okay, now we're just really going down. Oh my god, there's a graph for how often it's used. Whoa. Okay,
Wow.
I'm getting a little distracted. Anyways, so you were at this fire
Yes.
and there's no service.
And we were all sitting together, and Jonah was playing ukulele, and we were just having, like, it was a very, like, sweet moment, and, like, it was one of those, like, core memory type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there were people talking in the background, and the fire was warm, and we were all cold, and it was making all the mosquitoes go away, and there was music playing, and just, it was, like, a very, like, type of moment.
Yeah.
And it felt so heartwarming, and I was like, there's one more thing that I should be adding to this. And I was like, I wish that Jackson was here. And I was like, you know what? I've already called him today.
I'm going to call him
But
again.
I'm going to call him again.
And
I
what
did.
was the one message that you wanted to try and tell me?
I just wanted to tell you, I kept, well, the thing is I kept calling, and
Right.
the service kept cutting us out.
And you thought that I was hanging up on you.
Yes, I thought that, well, I had a feeling that at some point, at a certain point, like, I knew it wasn't just you hanging up and that it genuinely was a service, but I thought, like, it was just comedic effect for the first few times. But I kept trying to get one line out, and I just wanted to say, I wish that you were here. And it kept cutting me off.
I know.
But
you kept trying, and
I
finally,
tried so hard.
And finally it worked. And I was watching I feel like I was watching the Bruins. I was watching something out in the living room. And I remember Jackie was next to me, and after you finished, Jackie was like, she was really trying to tell you that she misses you and that she wishes you were there. I was like, oh, shucks. And so next week, when you flew back, I went to a Bruins game with Landon, Cohen, and Olivia.
Yeah.
And so it was a Tuesday, and I was going to the Bruins game, and the Bruins game was at 7. And so we took the train into Boston to go to the game. Now, your flight was supposed to land at like 1 a.m.
Correct.
And so I was then going to get on the train from Boston back to New Hampshire, and then get in my car and immediately leave New Hampshire and go back to Boston to pick you up, which in theory I could have stayed in Boston. We could have taken public transportation, but it would have just been easier if I had my car and I could have just taken you with my car.
Which, thank God.
that was our plan, because I get on the train and this is when the delays started piling up.
Yeah. Well, this is when the airports were still really backed up and everything was getting canceled.
For the right, because the FAA, was it the strike or was the funding cut?
The funding,
It was the funding cut, right? And so your flight from Florida to Atlanta, and I say the word Atlanta, and
heebie-jeebies.
Get the heebie-jeebies. You flew from Florida to Atlanta.
It was Orlando Airport to Atlanta.
Right, and that was on time. But then your flight from Atlanta to Boston.
Ooh.
How much time did you spend in Atlanta?
I think it was 10 hours.
10 overnight too. This is not during the day.
Yeah.
This is like your flight landed at Atlanta at what, like 10:30 p.m. And so I was at this time, like around the time you landed was when I was in North Station getting ready to get on the train to go home.
Right.
So we were texting back and forth, and you're like, I feel like there's going to be delays. Like, I don't know what to do. And so we talked all night.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I continued to talk to you. And my plan was I was going to stay up all night to keep you company because I wanted you to feel safe in Atlanta. But you were like, no, you should really get some sleep. And so I went off and did not sleep again. And I stayed up all night. I tried to sleep. I just couldn't. I was too on edge because I knew that I wanted to tell you that I had feelings for you when you came home. And so then I went and picked you up at the airport, and I was exhausted, and you were exhausted and wanted to go home.
Well, that time in Atlanta was not. That was my first time staying in an airport overnight, and mind you, I was alone in a place that
Yeah.
I'm not, like,
Right.
if I had stayed overnight in Orlando, I think I would have felt more comfortable because, like, at least it's semi-familiar, but
Right.
Atlanta was completely foreign to me.
Or like if you and I got stuck in Logan, in Boston overnight.
Right. Or
Yeah,
like
I
if
would've been
even
there.
I got stuck with you somewhere, but I
Right.
was by myself in a foreign place overnight, and I had all this like rush of emotions because I was leaving home again for the
Mhm.
first time, and
Mhm.
I was excited to see you, and so I just like
You were
there
excited
was
to see me.
yeah, I was like just so upset and like uncomfortable. I was like, I would rather have been stuck in Florida for like 3 more months. Like
Wow.
I wanted out so bad. I was so tired.
Well, you came home,
Yes. Yes.
and then we drove home. We spent a lot of time together, and then I remember distinctly. I think we were in between episodes of GMM. We were sitting on the couch
Mhm.
next to each other in your apartment downstairs, and like we were both. I think we both wanted to talk. I knew I wanted to talk about it. I had a feeling that you probably wanted to talk about it too.
Yeah, it's just I don't like. I also would have been okay if we did it because you have to remember, for the longest time I'd had a crush on you, and I was just okay with the fact of like nothing was gonna happen. Like
Did you think that it just wasn't going to happen?
I always had hopes. That's
Mhm.
where the 11:11 comes in.
Yeah, I was going to mention that during the story about the train, because that was the moment that, because I was unsure,
Mhm.
because while you were in Florida, I started really being like, man, I miss Carmela.
Mhm.
I really have strong feelings for her. But I was convinced that you didn't have feelings for me, because I was like, there's no way. I'm misreading this. Like, there's no
Mhm.
way she has feelings for me. And then it was on the train back that we was like maybe we had done the 11:11 thing before,
Mhm.
but it was probably the most distinct first time that it was 11:11 while I was on the train. And so we texted each other 11:11, and you're like, make a wish. And I was like, all right, what are you wishing for? And you were like, I can't tell you. And I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something along the lines of, I've been wishing for the same thing for months,
Mhm.
or something
I
like
think
that.
it was
And
that.
that was the moment where I was like, all right, well, if it's not me, then I'm going to feel like an idiot, but at least I tried.
Right.
And so that, I think, gave me the courage the next day to say, hey, so I kind of have feelings for you. And you're like, I kind of have feelings for you too.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask you out then, but I kind of said, I'm going to ask you out at some point, because I
Mhm.
think we both wanted some more time to process it.
Mhm.
And then a couple days later, I asked you out, and our first date was very nice. We went out, and it was very us,
Yeah.
because you and I are not like the fancy dinner. Like, obviously, we've dressed up nice to go places before,
Right.
like when we went to the jazz club.
Mhm.
But we're not like we like make reservations at this super bougie restaurant, and
Right.
like we drop a whole lot of money. Like, that's just, our date was very us.
Mhm.
We went to a place and then realized they didn't have food, and so we had to go to another place, and then we went for a walk, and it was so cold.
Freezing.
But it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And what I, looking back, what I think is so, because we've been on so many adventures in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
Because that was we all, up until this point, we've just covered us getting into the relationship.
Right.
And then the week after was Thanksgiving. And at this point, I had been getting closer with my parents. My relationship with my parents was sort of a little rocky, but it was getting better.
Mhm.
And we sort of hit that moment where we were like, it's Thanksgiving. And you and I were very close.
Yeah.
Like, and that is something that I think helped us. And I said this on our first date. It's like, we don't have to do the whole getting to know each other. Like, we've
Right.
been best friends for months.
Mhm.
So we were already super comfortable with each other, but we were sort of like, are we going to have Thanksgiving together? And so the very first time you met my parents, I think, was at Thanksgiving, right? I
Yeah.
had you come over a little early.
Mhm.
But the day before Thanksgiving, we went to your aunt's house, right?
Was it the
Or
day
was it the day
before?
after Thanksgiving? It was the day after Thanksgiving.
No.
What?
We did.
I know we had Thanksgiving at your aunt's house too, though.
I think.
Yes. No, I know it now. We had Thanksgiving the day before at your aunt's house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I drove home to my house, and you drove back to our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the morning, you came down
Mm-hmm.
and had Thanksgiving with us.
Yeah.
And then you went back home because you didn't stay that time.
Right.
But that was the first week we
Mhm.
had a major U.S. holiday together.
Yeah.
And it went great. You met my family, and they weren't super scary. And I met your family, and I'd already met your family. Like, I already met your aunt
Mm-hmm.
and your cousin, who are both lovely. And then a couple more weeks go by.
Christmas.
And, well, yeah, Christmas, but also our trip to Florida.
Yeah.
So I went down to Florida with you, which was my first time going to Florida since I was a kid, and the only other time I went was to Disney. So this is really like my first Florida experience. Because Disney is just like a touristy
Disney's
thing.
like you can go anywhere for that type of vibe.
Yeah.
Any
and,
state.
and so I went to Florida, and we stayed at your friend's house, and it was amazing.
Thank you, Lumina.
Yeah, huh?
Thank you, Lumina.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Luminac.
you, thank you, Miss Roseanne.
And Crack a Dog. And Jonah.
Jonah.
I guess, Jonah.
And Mr. Cryer.
And Mr. Cryer. But so we went down there. It was lovely. And obviously, so the reason, if you want to say the reason we went down is...
Yeah, I lost my little buddy, my childhood dog named Brock, aka Broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he passed, but it was okay because he went and he was still very, very happy, and he lived a very long, fulfilling life. But,
yeah, and
and
so
Jackson got to meet him
I got to meet him and your parents
for like 2 hours.
and your brother, which
Yeah.
was very nice. But no, we got to say goodbye to Brock, and then we spent a lot of time on the beach.
Yeah.
And then the trip home.
See, this is the issue. Is I
What?
can go to Florida fine.
It's
coming
you coming
back?
back. You have some bad luck with traveling
just,
home.
Florida needs
It's
me.
the car. So the car breaks down when you move up here for the
Mhm.
first time. Your flight gets uber delayed, like 10
Mhm.
hours when you're at Atlanta. Okay, so we're coming home to Boston.
Again.
Now, I have some tummy problems, as very well documented on my channel. But I was doing pretty good motion sickness-wise. I felt completely fine.
Right.
And then as we were descending into Boston, there were wind gusts of like 60 miles per hour. It was ridiculous.
Now,
So
for like context with how much 60 miles per hour is,
yeah.
in the state of Florida, we get hurricanes.
Uh-huh.
School buses are not allowed to drive over 40 miles per hour winds. So they close school down. They close schools down when it gets to 40 miles per hour.
Now imagine a school bus in the air with wings, and that's what we were on.
At 60 miles per hour.
60.
That
Not
is-
only that, but the plane was also traveling really fast. And,
Yeah.
And so I'm sure everyone at some point has either been on a plane or experienced some fashion of motion sickness or turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
But we were coming down, and it felt like we were it felt like someone was holding onto the plane and just shaking.
Death.
It was horrible. Now I began to by the way, pat on the high five for us. Neither one of us got sick.
Yeah.
We felt horrible, but I started feeling icky. And then what freaked me out is you never get motion sick.
Never before this, except for one time.
And you were starting to get a little icky.
I was like dry heaving. I was gagging.
So I guess what happened was we were gonna land and we were over the water, and then the worst possible thing happened, which was the pilot turned the engines back on, and he was like, "Yeah, we can't land right now." So we went back up, and there was another like maybe 25 minutes of like circling and just getting stuck in the air. Carmela was fine until we got back up, and then she looked over at me and she was like, "I'm gonna be sick." And so at this point, I didn't realize because I was so checked out. I was so like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe 70% of the plane was throwing up into trash bags that they were handing out.
Yeah.
And you looked over at me and you're like, I'm going to be sick. So I asked for, hey, can we get a trash bag? And it took a while, but luckily the guy next to us, MVP award, he was totally fine. Did he get sick at all?
I don't think so.
Thank God, because if he got sick, I feel like that we would have just been down.
Dude,
but
that was Jesus.
You gagged a little bit, but you were fine.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
we felt icky in the car afterwards too, but
right.
like
So then we land, and you were extremely supportive because I was just super out of it. And we get back in the car, and of course, Aunt Mary was like, "So how was it?" And we were both like, And I remember we got home, and you laid on the floor and I laid on your bed, and we were both just like, oh. And that was a good story for us to tell people. It was our 1 month, I think.
Yeah, that was the day of our 1 month.
And then we spent Christmas together. We did the same thing where we spent Christmas at my house and then at your aunt's house, which was very wonderful.
Yeah.
And then we had New Year's.
Yeah.
Which was, we had it here, which was great. And for New Year's, your friend Jenna, love Jenna came up and spent time with us.
Hashtag Jenna, hashtag shout out Jenna, hashtag I love you, Jenna.
Yeah. Do you think she's listening?
Oh, she's going to be the first one. Her and Lumina.
Yeah.
Lumina's the one who asked for this podcast.
Is she really? Oh, that's right.
Because I sent her the YouTube video and she was like, I'm peeing my pants laughing and you guys need to do a podcast.
Shout out Lumina. I mean, I was already thinking about it, but I feel like she really put this thought into our head.
You yap and I'll try and find the text messages.
But anyway, so so this first episode of the podcast, I really wanted to be us just telling stories. One, because it's Valentine's Day, stories about our relationship, but also just introducing you to us and the adventures that we've been on in the past few months. Because we've done a lot in the past few months. We've been together about 3 months now. You have it?
I have it.
All right. Why don't you read it and then I'll keep going.
So I sent her the vlog and we talked a little bit after it and she didn't watch it for a little bit until she had like time to sit down and watch it. Mm-hmm. And so she texted me, I think it was like a few hours later, and she was like, I just want to let you know that I'm only 5 minutes into your vlog and I'm laughing so hard that I almost peed myself. ... I need more vlog content from you guys. ... Y'all need to have a podcast or something.
Ooh, right there. Lumina. She should be our executive producer.
Truth.
I might just list her as the executive producer under like the credits.
Yeah.
Even though I will be producing this.
Lumina, you get 2% profits.
We're making money?
Yeah.
We're getting paid for this shit?
Yeah, with love.
Am I allowed to curse on this?
No.
Okay. Well, I just did.
This is family friendly.
Is it? Our video was like kind of family friendly. Did we swear at all in the video? I don't actually remember.
Lumina has a quote. Hold on. She sent me a quote from the video. It's in our text. She said, quoting me, "Oh my shit, ... eats cupcake batter off of herself."
Oh yeah, because you spilled cupcake on yourself. Well, and so that was the last thing I was going to talk about is you and I recorded a vlog together.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. I don't know if I've ever had that much fun making a video, but then also editing it and getting to see all of the shenanigans we got up to. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend that you go shout out JCraw, youtube.com/JCrawYT. We recorded a vlog where my mom was it for Christmas?
Yeah.
Got us this pack of date cards. And I think, what did I say in the video? Because we suck at dating.
Yes.
Which is obviously a joke. But we pulled a random one and it was like make cupcakes for each other, but like try to disguise the flavor, like do it like as a challenge, like a blindfold challenge. So we decided to make a video out of it. And we hung a sheet from the ceiling. And you stood on one side of the sheet and I stood on the other side in the kitchen. And we made our stuff. And we have perspectives of both of us. It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. And I'm thinking that maybe we should record more vlogs.
I agree. And I think that if this listener listening to us right now has made it this far into us just speaking about nonsense, then they will enjoy that vlog even more.
And I think that if they made it this far, they should also subscribe and follow.
I agree.
And
maybe even turn on notifications.
Oh, shit. Look at you, the content creator.
Wait a minute. Maybe even share it to a friend.
Oh. Anything else?
That's unheard of, though.
Yeah, I know.
That might
Sharing
be too
it
far.
with a friend.
That's like commitment. Like you really like us.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Hint, hint. Be
Wink,
your friends. Be your friends.
We have no friends. That's why we do podcasts.
but that's kind of our story.
Yeah.
And I really wanted our first episode to be our story, because it has been a story. It has been. We've done so much, and the vlog was a little under a month ago, and we've been on a couple adventures since then, but nothing as like crazy as that. We've been very busy with work because I'm beginning my last semester of college.
Yay!
And then I will be graduating, and Carmela works like
a dog.
80 hours a week. But but it has been so lovely. It has been so wonderful.
I
And I'm
agree.
so excited to start this podcast with you.
Yes. And I hope that when people listen to this, they get so excited by it that they take the long way home to listen to the rest of it.
Look at you once again working in the branding. And I guess the last story I will leave us with before we let go is especially in my brain, and you were kind of the one that suggested Long Way Home.
Mm-hmm. We were laying in the bed together and we were like, what do we name this thing?
And we said not poop banana. Do you want to do a quick sidebar of what the heck poop banana is?
Sure. So my dreams are always super feng shui.
Yeah.
And
you wake up and you tell me the wildest thing ever.
So we had been talking the night before about just poop for whatever reason and bananas and eating
Two
bananas.
very common topics for us.
Right. And they were two separate conversations too. But we had gone to bed recently after those conversations. And so I had a dream that I was at this place. I don't even remember where I was, but it was normalized for people to be eating poop. And I think my brain took eating bananas and pooping and put it together. And so now we just have this shared kind of term inside joke of poop banana. And that is...
And so now, and you changed your name on Snapchat on my phone to Poop Banana.
Correct.
Which, by the way, I get so many comments about it whenever I go somewhere and there's a notification, Poop Banana sent you a snap. And they're like, who the hell is that? I'm like, it's my girlfriend. It's a long story. But we were like, we can't call the podcast Poop Banana. I was like, even though it'd be funny,
no
we
one would
can't.
actually listen to it, I feel.
And the story that I thought of is when I think this story, it was also what you sort of brought up, is when, this is before we started dating, I had to drop it was either dropping off my tire or picking up my tire from the repair shop because it had a flat.
Well, that's the story that I thought of as well, because we were laying there and I was like, well, when I'm having a long conversation with someone and I don't want to stop talking to them, what is usually happening? And I feel like people always have good conversations in cars because that's just kind of what cars, like, you can't really do anything else in the car, so you end up having a good conversation, and so you end up wanting to take the long way home so you don't have to stop the conversation there. And that was the story that I also had thought of.
Yeah. And then that's what ended us up at Long Way Home. Because I think it's so true. I think sometimes we go out of our way to take these special detours. And I'm someone that loves traveling and just loves going places. And so for me, like, I will happily take an extra few minutes if it means I get to spend an extra few minutes with you. But we have reached that time. We have reached that time where it's time for the detour to end.
I'm gonna get separation anxiety from our podcast.
We're just gonna record this next week, and we'll make another one.
I'm scared.
You're scared? Don't be scared.
To leave them.
You know what you could do? You could just go back and listen to it again.
No.
It's always gonna be there.
I don't know if I want to listen to myself talk for that long.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But thank you,
Thank
everybody
you.
who made it this far. Thank you.
Thank you.
My co-host.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nobody said that.
I said that.
You did say that. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening, I guess. If you watched it, then congratulations.
You're seeing people, so
You're seeing people. Maybe you should contact a doctor. Maybe you should seek some help for that.